friends. Today we have Harshita. Thank you, Harshita, for taking the time and having a conversation. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Shrikant sir. And first of all, like it's very much like I'm very much honored to have this call with you. And I would say like a great thank you for providing such a great content. Because of that only we are able to make a transition into from a very different background to a data science background. Thanks to
So you
host
put
that.
in the effort. So I think 90% of the credit should go to you because you put in the effort to make the transition in the last 7-8 months. So I think kudos to you. I'll just
Thank you so
introduce you and then we'll start the discussion.
Yeah.
Just to give a background, so Harshita just joined in early Jan as a data scientist at this company called Intellect Design, which is primarily a company that builds products and solutions in banking and financial services. And prior to that, she worked for about 2 years, 8 months at Accenture as a software engineer. And prior to that, she finished her BTech in electronics and communications engineer, in ECE or electronics and communications engineering. So very good to see your transition from a software engineer to a data scientist. So my first question to you would be, how was the interview experience? Because you come from a non-CS background, but you still have a software engineering experience of about 2.5 years. And now you're interviewing for a data scientist role. So what was the interview experience like?
Yeah, so like my biggest, I would say, challenge for me to switch to a data science field was the coding because that was a main hurdle. And because at the point of from the mathematical point of view, I had I can say a good hold on that because I prepared for the GATE exam, so it gave me that sort of strength required for the mathematics, but not for the coding now.
So this is GATE in electronics engineering, right?
Yeah.
So your math, your differential calculus, all of that is very
Okay. All those things were covered in the GATE exam. So after that, I was very much hesitant to directly jump to the data scientist. So I was first planning for let's go for data analyst role, and then slowly I'll move to data scientist role. Then one of my friends suggested this is the course I'm following, and it's such a great. The instructor is such a great, and the team is so great. So if you follow this how they are teaching, you'll be able to do this transition easily. I was like, okay, let's try it. So after joining this course, what I understood is how much practical coding is required, how much theory understanding is required. So I started this course in September last year, and in the first month I completed my I would say module till module 5, the content. So first I watched the content, and then in the next month I went for the assignment. So I was first going for first it was EDA. I felt okay, I did something. Then I went for the TF idea. It was completely different because I had to do everything from scratch. So, but after completing that, I got the confidence that I mean we can do this. We can do this. We can do this. So slowly, with the help of team, with the help of friends, and kind of community we have on the Slack because they are very much active. So they helped us, and I just went ahead and ahead. So but one thing I kept in mind is that while preparing the course, I would not wait till go to complete this course and then we'll apply the job. So what I did after I was confident an 80% course I was entire content, and from the assignment perspective I completed actually 70 assignments. So after that, I started applying for jobs and making the resume. So whatever things were required in the field. But when I saw the JD in the job description, so they were we need this. I was I don't know, I'll be able to cover all this thing in the interview or not. But then I was following your live lectures and all those things. So you were saying whatever you know, and the main thing is to cover the breadth, not the depth, as of now. So I just covered everything in the content, and then I just applied for the job. Not bragging so much, not taking any experience, but I just applied it. So first call, I got from the Intellect, and the first process is they will give you the task. So there they asked me to provide a solution for invoice extraction and just to document the solution, not the coding. So I gave that, and the next round happened completely on the deep learning. They started with the ML part, but they more focused on deep learning. And in deep learning, if I say the question, what they ask is like mostly into the theory and the internals of that you taught, like what is the internal of LSTM, how does it work, and the RNMC and everything. Like the focusing area was like the theory behind all these logics. So that round went very well because I had completed just the deep learning part, and you had already covered this in very detail. So that helped me a lot. And after that, then I guess totally I had 5 rounds. So first was the just to give the solution, the document solution approach, and next was a deep learning in the round that happened, and the next was to implement the I suggested the OD method, like object detection method, to extract the information. So they gave the task to implement this from end to end, not the performance, but they just need the implementation part.
Okay.
And time I had not covered OD from the course, so I was like, okay. But then I took the help from Google and the videos and everything. So I did it, and then I went to the next round, and then managerial round. Then everything happened. And meanwhile, I was appearing for another interview. It was going for NLP data scientist. So both the like offers I got from them, and I chose internet.
Okay, cool. So for the object detection implementation that you're talking about, did they ask you to implement in TensorFlow or PyTorch from scratch the whole architecture, or could you use some third-party solutions?
No, they just wanted like the implementation from the API point of view. So they asked me what is the framework that you know. So I told them like TensorFlow. So they asked like implement everything like from start to end, and just give us this implementation, not accuracy and everything is not important.
Okay, got it.
Yeah.
So in the ML depth, you said there was also one round which focused a lot on the mathematical depth itself. So were some questions really hard because you didn't know the math, or did you? I mean, were there anything tricky out there? Because a lot of people make mistakes in the machine learning depth round where people ask you the mathematical fundamentals.
Correct. But the kind of depth that you have covered in the course itself, I don't think so anyone will go beyond that.
Okay, so that was sufficient for your interviews.
Very much sufficient. Okay. I was like expecting something harder than that, but nothing was there like apart from anything beyond the course.
So you also mentioned that you interviewed for an NLP role. So how were the interviews there? Were they any significantly different from intellect design, and what was the hardness there?
So hardness was like, first of all, like they focused on like what like mainly areas of NLP, like what are things we do in NLP, and situation-based question like if this is the data, then how do you go about the solution?
Fairly simple, straightforward stuff. Nothing too deep mathematically also.
Deep, I must say, like it happened in the intellect itself. Like they were going to deep depth of the deep. I see.
Okay, so at intellect design they had deeper questions, but for the NLP engineer role, it was more shallower in terms of mathematical rigor.
Yeah, and situation-based question mostly.
Oh, so they asked more real-world problem solving. Got it.
Yes.
What about programming? Because you come from a non-CS background, how hard was the programming in some of the interviews or the tasks that they gave you for screening?
So, like first, I would say like how I improved my programming, and then I will go about the task. So first thing was like when I started the assignment. So as I mentioned, like once I completed the area, I was like, oh, I did something. And then I went to the TF-IDF. I was like, no, this is much better. So likewise, I went, like I first completed, I would say out of 15, I guess 12 assignments of machine learning. And then I went for the deep learning. So the kind of assignment that we have, like implementing everything from scratch, that itself gave me so much boost, like anything, if it is coming from like coding or any internal sort of thing, I will be able to do that. So that helped me a lot, and I was able to, just with the help of those experience, I was able to solve that.
Okay, so whatever you learned in the course was sufficient.
Yeah.
You also worked as a software engineer at Accenture, right? So what was your work like there? Did you actually implement code, write code, etc.?
No, like we were mostly like surrounded in the tools that I mentioned, like SAP was there, Hyperion was there, and like for some part of time I just tried machine learning, but not that much. Like it was.
So it was more tool driven. So you didn't have a lot of hands-on software engineering experience itself.
Correct.
Got it.
So that is why in the beginning, actually, I called team multiple times, like what should I do to improve my coding. So they were like, Harshita, just follow the assignment, just proceed as we have designed, and you will be able to do that. So I was
Good.
following the live lecture as well, because in live lecture we have covered the Python coding in the first module.
Yes. So we have done additional coding exercises and coding practice through live sessions, especially for people who are not comfortable with programming. Right.
Yeah.
So
and
go ahead.
And one more thing, I just add like before like this taking this course, I was like I had different perception for the coding, like how we go about it. But in the one of the lecture, I guess you mentioned that if you are feeling very much difficult about coding, and then what you do is like you break the main problem into sub problem, and then you solve the sub problem, and then likewise you code it. So that helped me actually a lot to solve the problem entirely.
Yes. That's a standard problem-solving strategy that unfortunately we were not taught as kids. But that helps even in, forget about programming, even when you write a complex research paper or implement a complex system, standard strategy to break it down into smaller components, solve each of the problems. So cool. So, another question that I had for you was, what was your learning strategy? Because you said you were very comfortable with the mathematics because you prepared for GATE. But what was your overall learning strategy from the course, given that you're working and you're also learning and things like that?
So, like, I would say, like, I didn't do anything beyond applied AI, but whatever you mentioned in the course and whatever like instruction you gave while taking the live lectures or anything, I just followed that. Because I remember, like, in the one of the videos you mentioned, like, to make a transition, it is very much important to cover the breadth, not the depth as of now. So, what I did in the first round, I completed all the videos of machine learning first, and not focusing on one topic like where I'm stuck and just spending like one or 2 weeks or just in that topic. I was like, no, I'll just move on. So in the first round, I completed the video of machine learning, and then I went about the assignment. The concepts were like left behind in the covering the videos that got cleared in the assignment. We have to implement everything from scratch. So there it helped me. And then I went did for the deep learning. But in December, I had the mock interview.
The first mock interview, yeah.
Yes, first one. So before that, what I did, I had we had to we have that 300 questionnaire that you provide us. So I just went through that, and the second thing I did, I just revised everything from the module 1 to the module that we have in the past. Video also, and I had prepared my own notes while watching video, so that everything helped me.
Oh, that's good. Actually, because for mock interviews, if you prepare well, I think you're well prepared for actual interviews also. So that revision is surely helpful, actually.
So, on that day itself, like at 11 a.m., I had the mock interview, and then at 2 p.m., I had my first interview.
Oh, okay. Good.
Yeah.
Good. Sounds good. So, I mean, it's always delightful for us to see some of our learners transition from their current careers to data science careers. And it's more, I mean, I'm more excited when people come from non-CS backgrounds to data scientists, because you bring a wealth of knowledge. For example, there is so much of, let's say, information theory that you study, vector calculus that you study, that a lot of CS folks don't study. And you can bring, entropy better than any of us, because that's foundational electronics and communications.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's always delightful to see non-CS folks successfully make the transition. And all the very best. Thanks a ton for sharing your journey, and all the very best in your career at Intellect Design and beyond.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Harshita.